What's going on, everybody? Hello, welcome to Keeping It Shrimple, episode number 9. Almost to the double digits, almost. So I want to say hello real quick to everybody that's in here. I see y'all are commenting and chatting. I guess Rob93 ended it a little bit early, so some of y'all may have jumped out of there and jumped in here. But there's Mary Page. Hello. Well, I think she commented last night, but her comment's still there. It was the first one there. Sorry, Mystery Snail Guardians. Yellowstone, what's up? Sandy, hello. Metalhead. Eduardo, good to see you, brother. And 3G. That's what we got so far. So, hello, everybody. How's it going? Hope everybody had a wonderful, awesome Thanksgiving. And I was on with Brian at Motor City Aquatics on Monday. We were just talking about the Cyber Monday deals for all of the shrimp peoples out there. We had some. I had one. He had one. And then, of course, everybody else was having a Black Friday sale. Hi, Carrie. Hi, Maria. Xanadu, what's up? Allatooth. Awesome. Good to hear. Good to hear. I'm glad they made it okay. I'm glad they're doing well. Acclamation's always a little bit nervous, but I don't think really in all the shrimp that I've ordered online over the years, I don't think I've really had much deaths in acclimation. It's either they're already dead in the bag, like one or two, if that much, or they just don't make it after getting in my tank for whatever reason. I haven't had that problem lately, but I used to when I first started. So, if you're out there and you lose shrimp, don't give up. Keep on trying. You'll get it right. Who else? Jess. Hey, Jess, what's going on? Davo. Pride Moors, Fishing More. Hello. So I'm going to say a little something to a friend of mine that's in this chat, Carrie. I'm already blushing saying it, but I just wanted to say hello. Missed you. Hopefully I get to see you soon. Don't get to talk much because you're so busy working all the time. And if not, then I'm busy. So, but it's good to see you, Carrie. We need to get together soon. Lady Diane, hello. Dee Dee. I got to come up with a nickname for Dee Dee. Big Dee Dee. If I'm going to be Big Papa, then I need a nickname for her. Blizzle Aquatics, Fish Tropic. Ah, man, you changed it on me, Fish Tropic. I can't bitch. Oh, darn it. Okay. Pony Spooner. Oh, now, wait a minute. We're not even going to go there. This is not ladies' night. I'll be up here blushing and laughing the whole time. We don't want to go there. I sent the link out to Brian from Motor City Aquatics. I don't know if he's feeling better, feeling worse. He was under the weather on Monday a little bit, and I don't think I've talked to him today. So who knows? We'll see. I sent him the link, so maybe he'll come out here. Joseph Stanley, what's going on? Brian has the variant. No, I don't think so. Well, at least I hope not, but probably just regular cold flu stuff or whatever. It's kind of weird to say that, isn't it? Regular flu. The world we live in today. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So for some of you that are here, you're experiencing my first official opening and shipping week. And let me tell you, just like the title of the stream, we got holiday deals everywhere, but we also have shipping ordeals. And it's kind of strange because I've never really had to experience it from this end of it while trying to ship packages for a business. Been there on the other end of it, shipping packages for family and stuff like that, but you're never really too concerned. When it comes to holiday shipping, however, for live animals, yeah, that's a little bit different story, because when they get delayed out there, depending on the weather, the situation, how they're handled, all that fun stuff, it gets a little bit nervous. So all of you that placed orders on Monday or Tuesday, your orders are shipped. Everything that I had this week is all closed out and shipped out. Hopefully I sent you the correct tracking information. I'm trying to figure out how to enter all that information. So thank you for being very patient with me as I work out the kinks in my system. Lady Metalhead, how you doing? If you say Brian 6 times and clap your hands, he appears like Beetlejuice. Well, try it and let me know. Let me know what you find out. Let's see how this works.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
Can you hear that? I wanted to put something, because last night I was watching Fishy Biz, and I like how he has the little horn every time he gets a super chat or something. So I don't get super chats or anything of that nature, but I wanted to still have.
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp?
I love shrimp. Who else loves shrimp? Hopefully all of you. I think most of you do, or at least like them. Oh, wow. Cool deal, Liquid Zoo. I'm on the spreadsheet. Yeah. I am somebody. What's up, Joe? Joe Shrimp Shack. He's got big shrimp. Big shrimp. At least that's what the short says. Ain't that right, Joe? Joseph Stanley. Sandy Skull. Hey, what's going on, Skull? New Local Austin. Hello. All right, everybody's starting to fall in here. Send it. Send it. Send what? Got to be more specific. So while we're here, everybody gathering in. Again, happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Hopefully there was no bad news. Sending prayers to Fishy Biz. Lots of prayers, brother. Much love. Let's see. He got that chola wood. I heard Joe does. Yeah, he's got. Don't sneak, slurp, slurp. Man, I can't get away with nothing. Fish Tropics on me. He's on me like crazy. But that's okay. It's all in good fun. Let me see here. But yeah, okay. So like I was saying, my first week, having to learn some things, having to really, I should have done it beforehand, but going down to the post office, you should build a rapport with your post office workers. Really. I mean, I know now, after just even this week, I'm going to make sure that I work on it with all of the people up there at the office, my local post office, and build a rapport with them, because I think that's going to be very beneficial if I'm going to be going beneficial. Oh, wow. Listen to me talk. My Hispanic is slipping back in. Check my phone. You have to send me a message on Messenger, Jess. Okay, so I'll admit it. Right now, I do not have phone. I have a pay-as-you-go plan on my phone because I got tired of those contract things because they suck. So I got a pay-as-you-go thing, and I let it slip by the wayside. But I figured it was more important to make sure that I had everything I needed for packing supplies over a phone that really nobody uses. Nobody calls me. I get a few texts here and there, so really there's no point in having the phone other than talking to my bill collectors from the hospital. And I don't really want to talk to them right now either. I see what you're saying. Wow. Okay. Ba-ding. Join me in messaging with Jerry. I see what you're saying. Okay. So, since we're talking shrimp, and while I'm looking at my mouse and the camera at the same time, see if I'm doing a good job looking in the camera. I basically am trying to find Joe so I can send him a link. There it is. Oops, wrong link. I'll send you the link to the YouTube stream. Got to learn this stuff, right? There we go. And then I come over here and then I click here and Control V. Voila. Oh, and then I come over here and then I click here. I don't come over here. That's the YouTube stream. All right. Hey, Monster Fish Gal, how you doing? Mississippi Hippie, how you doing? And I think that's as far as who's posted. All the Glitch, how you doing? Lady Diane. Yeah. Okay, so I sent Joe the link. Hopefully he'll join up in a little bit. I know there's a little bit of a delay, so if life is hard to understand, if your life is way out of hand, come to Papa. Come see your Papa. There you go. All right, there we go. I see a bald head.
Hey.
Hey, Joe, what's going on, man?
I got some big news for everybody.
Uh-oh. Let's have the announcement right here on Keeping It Shrimple.
So let me just move this so I can get my camera. There we go. Flip was not on his live because Amanda's in labor.
Awesome. That's what I figured.
So let's not jinx it. Let's not blow up his phone. Let's not blow up Amanda's phone. Let him have, just pray for him and just go from there. So he told me this afternoon. So
yeah, usually when stuff like that happens, you don't really have time to post a community post saying no stream and all. You're gone. You're on your way to the hospital and everything else is gone.
Yeah, most definitely. So
well, cool, man. Prayers for Rob and Amanda.
Yep, prayers for Rob and Amanda and little baby Josephine, but he ain't gonna name it Josephine, although I paid $100 to get the baby name.
That's funny.
So yeah, today at the store I totally organized stuff and moved stuff, and I started working on a scape that I'm gonna give away for Christmas, and yeah, looked at my fat belly.
Right. And how's shipping up there right now? Is the
Shipping's
weather
not that bad? It's in the mornings. I think I wake up and it's about 30 degrees. So everybody that ordered over Black Friday, I did ship everything off. So we'll see how everything ships from that. So please, if anybody did order something, just if something happens, just message me. That's the biggest thing, is we never know with Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So
right.
So now we have the little one fighting to eat her chicken because I'm trying to eat healthy. So I made chicken breast and zucchini with sriracha sauce on there. So I need to lose 30 pounds. So
yeah, well, I remember when I had to lose 30 pounds because I was diabetic or pre-diabetic. And
well, yeah, I'm gonna get a full panel workup. It's just I've been having issues with my feet, so I just want to get a full panel workup and then see where my blood levels check, and then freaking, if it's only 30 pounds, it's 30 pounds. Maybe I can turn it around before it gets worse.
Yeah, and it kind of stinks when you have to do something like that for your health, but at the same time, man, I cut out everything sugar and almost everything carbohydrates, and within 2 weeks I had lost a bunch of weight. I felt so much better. I could sleep better, breathe better. Of course, little did I know I had other issues at the time, but still losing the weight.
I don't drink that much pop. I drink iced tea and lemonade. I drink Arnie Palmer's, which lemonade's not really good because of the sugars, but I have to drink the citric acid because I had a really bad kidney stone. So, I have to have citric acid in my system to be, as I'm telling you, man, this is what happens when you get old. So all you young people out there, take care of yourself. Look at Megan. She's just like, what? She's eating. She's eating. What are you eating over there? She's eating like fruit, and fruit is like bad because it's got sugars in there. So
So, Joe, how are
It is.
you as far as you were talking about all the wood and stuff that you have going on? You got your sale going on. How long's your sale going on till?
So I extended my sale till Friday, I think. And then I got a phone call that my wood big container came in. So she's freaking me out. She's like, she's trying to bully me with fruit. So stop. I'm on a live.
Who else loves shrimp?
So the container's coming in. He said he's gonna probably drive the container up. I'm hoping like mid-December. He could drive it up. I know JBJ, the Malaysian driftwood, just came in. I know we have rock and spider wood coming in a few weeks. So right now, the Malaysian driftwood average at stores are selling, just so everybody knows, $30 a pound is the going rate right now for wood. So the price that we're selling it for is actually pretty reasonably priced for that $30 a pound. Is actually really cheap. I think we're basing our wholesale price at close to like $5 a pound. So it's pretty good.
Well, that's
So-
cool. I remember the last time we talked about containers of wood that were stuck out in the ocean or coming in. I remember we were talking about it, and you were saying like the price was like 15,000 at that time, or 13,000.
Yep, the container came in. The Malaysian driftwood container came in yesterday, and it cost $16,000 for the container.
Wow. And it's going up.
It's going up, so that actually is pretty cheap price.
Wow, that's crazy.
Papa Shrimp. So, but
Yeah.
no, it's one of those things where you know. So if you look at it, container price kind of went down a little bit, but shipping of shrimp livestock is $22 a kilogram, so that went up in price.
Jeez.
So everybody's just got to be patient with everything. That's the biggest thing. So how did all your shrimp come in? Did you have a good sale over Black Friday?
Oh yeah, well, for me, for being a small business and just starting, I did pretty good. I had I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 orders that I shipped out and processed. So that was good. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate the support, and I appreciate you giving me a chance to practice working out all the kinks of my system, because I know nothing ever works out perfect when you first start. So
breather bags, Purigen, and little pieces. Like go get a brand new loofah from the dollar store. That's all you really need.
Right. Yeah, I had a loofah that I cut up into little pieces.
So that's all I need to ship. If you ship on Saturday, feed your shrimp on Thursday. They poop on Friday. They go in the bag with a little bit of Purigen. Everything works pretty good.
That's
so
cool.
A lot of people ship on Mondays and Saturdays. Depends on the holiday weekends. So
Hey,
I see
John.
you drinking the classic Coke.
Yep. Regular old classic Coke. This is my evening coffee. I'm bad with caffeine, man.
Yeah,
Let
me tell you a story what happened last night.
Uh-oh.
So little Jersey has got an issue with going to bed at a reasonable time. So we were at a grocery store, and I decided, hey, there's some children's melatonin, 2.5 milligrams.
No, I asked where it was.
Or sorry, Megan asked where it was. She found it. So we went over and said, okay, let's just try this. And I was like, well, you know what? I'm usually staying up pretty late anyways. So I'm like, I'll get the adult version. So came back. She brushed her teeth. I gave her 2 gummies at 7:30. And then I took a pill too at 7:30, figuring, okay, 9 o'clock it's going to go in effect. Right? 8 o'clock, dude, we're out. We're gone. We're gone. I woke up at 8 o'clock this morning. That's 12 hours of sleep. I'm gone.
Yeah. I did that the other night where I guess I ran out of, after I dropped my son off in the morning, Sunday morning, dropped him off so he could take his bus ride back to school. So I met with all the other parents and boys that were getting on the bus to go back. And they went back. I drove back home. I got lost again. coming home, and I don't know how I do this. I'm really good with directions, but and I took a road knowing I'm going to come back the same way, but somehow, some way, I ended up lost in the country, just driving around through farm fields and stuff. But finally got home, and then I did as much cleanup because after your 18-year-old son comes home for a week, things kind of explode in the house. I don't know how, but they do. And so I cleaned up, and then I'm sitting there at 7 o'clock watching TV, just dozing after I ate and got all full and happy. I'm out.
I felt relaxed. Like I sat here like, oh, yeah. And then all of a sudden, like 20 minutes goes by, and I'm like, I could just go we were watching Jaws. I could just go to bed. So
I think I'm going to need a bigger tank.
Yeah. So what kind of questions do people have? I'm here. I can be here anytime you guys want and stuff. So, but if you have questions, it's the perfect opportunity to fire up on Jerry's channel and stuff. And then you get two experts going to talk about it. So,
yeah, one of the things that, and I don't know if you went through this or how you handle or manage your inventory, but one of the things that I noticed in previous capacities were shipping stuff and trying to keep track of inventory. I didn't want to get behind as far as the stock levels because I want to make sure that it's I don't want somebody to order something that I don't have by having the wrong inventory.
All right, so what you do is let's say George, what?
Well, what I ended up having to do was
what you do is let's say you got 100 shrimp. Okay, put the cutoff level at 70. That gives you 30 shrimp for possibly dead loss, possibly anything else. Just put it at, like if you go on your Shopify and you use Shopify, and let's say you have 100 shrimp, just set it at 70. That gives you 30 that you can go over and breed with. And if you want to start breeding them, I would say literally, like if you want to breed them, I would take 100 shrimp and I put 100 shrimp in a tank and just let them go.
Right. But the one thing that I noticed was because I set it all up and I had my min stock levels to where it alerts me and all that stuff. But I put in the actual number of shrimp that I have versus when they order a 5-pack, it's going to take out quantity of 1 from my inventory. So I had to change it and divide it by 5. So that way it shows that I only have 10 in stock, but it means
and that's where it's tough because I used to do it individually and stuff, and then I was like, you know what, I'll just do a 5-pack special where it's like basically you're paying for 4, you get the 5th one free. And I did that too, and I just learned to because the average person, I mean, if you look at it, the average person when they're going to buy shrimp offline, the most they're going to probably average do is about 20. If they're going to do over 20, usually people ask, hey, do you do a better price discount if I order more? So just put your 5-packs at 4. And then if you sell all 4, then you can re-up it from that one and then put your singles at like 30.
Right.
So it kind of works pretty good. It's kind of hit or miss. It's kind of like, with me and my store and stuff. People can come in my store and I have people come in and buy 50 at a time, and I'm like, oh shit, I better go change my freaking my Justin number and stuff.
Well, see, I don't want something like that to happen to where I create my own back order, and then I don't have anything to offer people, and then they're Papa Shrimp's all out. I'd rather do it the other way and get it right at the up front.
Yeah, I don't allow back orders. The only thing I allowed back orders was some hard goods, and then it kind of bit me in the butt. Like SO Aqua Magic Powder. I could heavily get it at any time. Now it's so tough to get it. I was on back order for 1. The reason behind that is I had some shoplifters in my store and they were stealing that. So my quantity showed 23 and I actually only had 1.
Hey Ed.
I'm telling you, people steal the stupidest stuff. I meant magic powder. You're gonna steal a bottle of magic powder? Whatever. I'd rather have someone say, you know what, Joe, I can't afford this, but I need it, and work something out with me versus stealing from me.
Right. Well,
just like if someone needs something, someone did it ordered today, and they said, is shipping really $17? I'm going to get this present one. So what I do is I charge a flat rate of $17 for shipping because that covers medium, that covers a large box. But if I get your stuff packaged up and I see shipping is only $8, I'm giving you free stuff to make up that $18. I've always done that. It's kind of worked out for me, so that's kind of what I kind of tell people. A lot of people do that, and then free shipping after. I think I have like 100 or 120. I can't remember what it is.
Right.
So,
well, one day when I'm at that level to where I can afford to do that stuff, I will. Basically, and I need to put it on the website, but I have a $20 flat rate because it's costing $16.25 at the store to ship the box, right, on a flat rate. But I'm putting foam and styrofoam and
all right. So this is how Eric Lucas and I do it.
All that extra stuff. So I'm trying to at least make sure that I don't not account for the extra costs that are incurred when shipping packages.
So how Eric Lucas and I do it is we use the breather bag, the Purigen, the little freaking loofah and stuff, the little piece of it. Go get those priority mailboxes because they're free. And then what you should do is get blown insulation. So I go to Home Depot. I don't know if you, whatever you have down there, they have blown insulation. It's $14.75 for a big 55-pound bag, which usually that lasts me about a month to ship. So in a small priority mail or the small whatever the medium, what is 7x7x7, no more than 2 bags of shrimp go in there with no more 15 shrimp per bag. The medium flat rate, the medium box, I can usually put packages of 4, maybe possibly 5. And then I just put a layer of insulation, put my 2 bags in there, put more insulation on top, and then tuck it in. And then if it's super cold, I put the heat pack up top. And that usually works pretty good where we don't use the styrofoam because that's an extra added expense. Now, don't get me wrong. If someone says, hey, I'm buying $2,000 in the boas and stuff, dude, that's going overnighted. That's
right.
It's coming in a pillow. It's got angel kisses all over it. It's got everything you possibly think of.
Right.
But I've had it where it's packages that got cold and I had to reship, and it sucks when that happens. But for cost effective for us, that's usually the best way to do it and stuff. I know some people wrap it up in newspaper and they ship it. Some people do the old styrofoam boxes inside. Now, I know a lot of people that did the styrofoam boxes inside, the smaller people that did that, they're no longer around. And is it because shipping got too expensive for them? I don't know. I know like Flip still does that, but Flip is a bigger name. And when he orders from Uline, he can order mass quantities and get the price discount.
Yeah, he gets all his foam pre-cut.
Yeah.
I thought he got his foam for packaging or shipping from the same place that does his Matten filters.
Might because they would ship it and stuff.
Yeah.
So
because when I was there, that was what was really cool was we had all of the boxes on a pallet of already pre-cut pieces so we could build the boxes.
Yeah. I've wanted to do that too, but then I just looked at like the cost effectiveness and then how much more room this is going to take. I only got 768 square feet at my store, and every inch has to account for some value there. Like I was going through the stuff today saying, dude, this can't be here. This is an empty box. I know this is a box for this aquarium that I have set up, but in theory, it's taking up space. It's time to go to the garbage.
Right.
So
no, I think what I did this week, I got to tweak it a little bit, but I think it's going to work out pretty good.
That's good. As long as you have your system, that's the biggest thing. System is always what matters.
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's when I was in manufacturing and programming CNC machines and all that crap. That was all. I used to think it was silly the way we had to do everything and create our processes and get them down to a science, and sometimes get it down to an art. And once I learned how beneficial that was to so many other things, what I did at work for so long, the same thing over and over, kind of like a assembly worker or something. But building those processes is very, very critical and very, very important. Even you can build processes for your tank maintenance, and how you do it and schedule it accordingly. And when you do it right, it doesn't become overwhelming.
Yeah. So like me, when I do my packaging, like if I have a small orders for the week, like 5 or 6 packages, I look at the names and everything. But when I did like over Black Friday, I had tons of packages. I just did the whole I wrote down what all need to be scooped and just scooped and put in bags, and then did the process like an assembly line. And that's kind of what I did. And it kind of works for me. I don't want to spend too much time on the packaging of stuff because everybody's time is worth money and stuff. And I mean, I went on my birthday to do all the packaging and stuff. So, but I kind of love it. Want to come up here? Come up here. Look,
Yes, I know.
Liz.
My friend Carrie gets great prices at Lowe's, which I'd rather go to Lowe's.
Back up. Back up.
Just because I used to work for the depot. And, so I'd rather give my money to Lowe's than Home Depot, honestly.
Hold on.
Since I don't own any stock anymore.
Hey, come here.
Oh,
she's Mary
already
Shrimp.
ready for Christmas, huh?
Yeah, she says Mary Shrimp. So, but I'm glad your first weekend on Black Friday went really well. I'm always here to help you and give you some advice and stuff and some tips here and there.
Oh yeah,
Jersey. Shh. They're all trying to watch me. I got the camera now too.
Yeah, you're right there.
When you say you're working on it, Ed, what do you mean? Are you
hold on 1 second. Hey guys, go in the room. I can't hear. Okay, what was that?
I'm asking Ed because he said he's working on his next shrimp tank right now. Wondering where he's at in the process. Is he just cycling it, scaping it, ready for shrimp soon? Joe's got all the good ideas, and he's a pretty damn good scaper too.
I'm working on a scape tonight. Like, JBJ wanted me to do a short on one of their 4-gallon shrimp tanks. And I kind of been working on something, and Manny's like, that's more for Halloween. And I'm just like, yeah, that's kind of what I want to do right now. So I kind of worked on something. I'm going to do a dry scape, and I'm going to I'll do a couple videos on it, and then I'll just give the tank away for Christmas.
Oh, there you go. You're putting it together as in like you're building a tank, Ed, or you got a tank and you're starting to figure out how you're going to set it up. Oh, cave tank. Ah, cool deal. Yeah, are you going to do a video on it while you do it setup? That'd be pretty cool. That's one of the things I tore down 2 tanks yesterday or today. These 2 behind me right here, this one and that one, and pulled everything out and washed it out, resetting them, just because I have so much fun doing that, and I really don't want to add any more tanks right now yet. Of course, I probably need to, but I don't want to yet. But I like to reset every once in a while and just, rescape it, because that's so much fun. I love doing that. I love scaping.
Scaping is fun. It's relaxation too.
That's what got me into shrimp at the beginning, was because I'd given up on trying to find any cool fish at PetSmart or Petco anymore. So all I did was planted tanks. And I got one planted tank that was the most amazing tank I've ever seen in my life. The plants were flowering. The water was crystal clear. And I had to move. My wife had my son, and too much at one time, so I let it go, and I've been trying to catch that same scape ever since, or that type of scape, or to where it's thriving by itself and I don't really have to do much. And when I was having so many problems trying to figure it out, I figured, hey, look, these shrimp, I didn't know there was freshwater shrimp, and they're beneficial to planted tanks, and maybe I'll try that. And next thing you know, here I am, Papa Shrimp, because I love shrimp.
Yeah. And I know someone said I should do a video on scaping and stuff. I got a hardscape done, but I need to plant it, so maybe I'll do just a live shorter. I don't know. So half the time, like whenever I want to do a scape, it's like it's never planned. I just get bored. I'm just like, I'm going to do something today, and that's the way it is.
Right.
Like I should have done, like Jersey has 2 tanks here. she's got a shark tank, and then she's got her shrimp tank, and I never videotaped any of that because I was just like, all right, I'll just put it up there. That's about it. So I remember the best
your
one.
question, Carrie. No. I had a question on Messenger, but I figured it's easier just to tell her live.
Yeah. The best I've seen for someone aquascaping, I can't remember exactly who did it. They went on Facebook Live, and they were doing aquascapes, and they allowed the people to actually go over and say, no, let's move the rock this way. Let's move the rock this way. And we formed like this cool little Lion King one. And then what he would do is he would sell it whole format, whatever was up there. You know, he'd be like, okay, guys, I'm going to sell this. I want $80. And then people could screenshot whatever they wanted, move the camera to the top, and then he'd take all those rocks out and he'd ship it to them. And then I thought that was pretty cool. It took a lot of time and dedication because we're all it's like, we want a Lion King tank. We got to do the whole arch.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
see Fish Tropic.
Yeah, I was just going through here, seeing if anybody. Carrie says,
yeah, some native plants you have to get permits for. So, you know, just contact your DNR as long as they're not invasive. Usually, they don't care.
Ed's actually building his tank.
Is going to do the cave setup. That's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. What are some of your favorite things to do when you're scaping, like for a shrimp tank? I mean, trust me, I know what we all do for our tanks is it's nothing, just the moss maybe and maybe a piece of driftwood. But if you're scaping a tank for somebody or to display, like, you know, not for your work, what kinds
it's
of
all
things
about simplicity and how easy it is to maintain. So a lot of times people do aquascapes and then they don't realize that it doesn't work in the long run. Like doing like giant like ravines and stuff, it doesn't work because the ravine fills for detritus. Or the people that do the pathways as time goes by, they all get mixed up. So I like to keep in mind the maintenance of it. You know, keep wood at least a half-inch away from all the glass sides because you have to clean it. Have an area that's really easy to clean, and that's kind of what matters because it's like all you need to do is have a dead space that fills full of detritus and it starts rotting and it can just kill your tank.
Right. And that's one of the things that I had to learn because you forget when you put everything and you set it all up and then you go a month or 2 months and you're like, I got to move everything to get to the glass and get to those corners and so on and so forth.
I had a guy that had a 29 tall. He wanted to do a cichlid tank, wanted Oko stone in there, and he bought like 90 pounds of Oko stone. We did a scape for him. It looked awesome. He started putting cichlids in there. He wanted to do tank maintenance. I went over there. I did the tank. I took all the rocks out like you're supposed to. Did the tank maintenance, rescaped it, and I got an email. Hey, you need to come back here. I'm like, why? The tank's not the way it's supposed to be. I'm like, what do you mean it's not the way it's supposed to be? He wanted the same identical scape every single time. With like 80 pounds of Oko stone. I'm like, dude, this ain't never going to happen like this. I said, every time I come there, it's going to be a different scape. He said, that's not what I want. And I'm like, then if that's not what you want, then what's going to happen is I can do the scape. And then what's going to happen is the detritus is going to build up and you're going to have fluctuations in your water because I can't always put it back in the same spots. I just can't.
Right.
And I think after about like 6 months, he started having issues. And I told him, I said, look, those rocks need to get moved. And I said, I'm sorry, but I think most people would be happy with the new scape every single time. A maintenance person came out once a month and rescaped it, and it looked different every single time. I guess not.
It took me a while to understand that it's not wrong to reset a tank. You know, that was one of the things that I guess I limited myself because I'd set up a tank and then I'd want to keep it exactly the same way for as long as possible. Yeah. And that's really hard to do unless you have the correct balance right off the bat.
And then knowing what rocks are that have lime in it, that have calcium carbonate in there. I mean, if you're going to do Caradinas, you're stuck to like slate, lava, okostone, petrified wood. You're stuck to that because everything else either has lime or it has calcium carbonate. Like cereal stone is a beautiful rock, but it has KH in it.
Right.
And you can boil it in uric acid, which takes out some of it, but it's not going to take 100% out. It's just going to leach out a little bit slower. And that's, keep that in mind. Like my show tank, I don't dose any KH in the tank, just GH, because the cereal stone releases the KH in the tank.
Right.
So it's just about knowing what you want for the end game. So I always talk to people, like when they're going to set up a new tank, I always, instead of going to the beginning, I go to the end. What do you want to have in here for livestock? I work my way backwards. If you want to have this, then we have to do this, and it works backwards. Aquascape, and then it comes down to soil, then it just works backwards, and it works out. It seems to work out pretty well.
And I think that's something that I've heard rumblings when people say, "Oh, I'm just burnt out, so I'm, tearing down my tanks and selling them," and they may have 3 or 4 tanks, and it's just a lot of work for them with whatever they got going on in their lives and family and stuff like that. But that's where I kind of think that's how we avoid burnout is just reset a tank. It's like having something new instead of buying a tank and adding to it. Reset one of the tanks you already have, and then you'll find yourself back in love with, oh, that's so pretty. I did a good job. Let me try another one.
Well, the biggest thing that people do burnouts is they get too big too fast. I mean, look at me. Everybody thought I was going to get burnt out. I went from 1 to 4 to 17 to 14 to 25 to 44 to I got 135 I counted today. And everybody's like, dude, Joe did this all in like 6 months. He's going to get burnt out. He's going to get out of the hobby and stuff. And guess what? I'm still here, but I'll tell you this right now. I'm getting really tired of water changes. I'll tell you that right now. I'm like, every day I can do a water change, and I go with the good intentions, like, hey, I'm going to get this water change today. And I get to the store and I start doing it. I'm like, you know what? This is for the birds. Where's my 16-year-old that wants to learn something and get some cash on the side? Come here. I'll show you how to do a water change.
Right. Jess has a question.
I'm reading it. All right. So, like on the Caridina species, majority of like the genetics and the stripes and the spots go from the males. Now, but you're talking about the Neocaradinas. So if you kind of look at it, the Neocaradinas were all basically, well, besides the Bloody Marys and the Palomitos and everything else, were all bred from one series. So it's just a bit different color variations. And I know a lot of people are trying to create new lines, but in essence, it doesn't really work because pretty much all the lines have been created out there. And that's where it's tough because everybody's like, no, I still want to do this. I still want to do this. And I'm like, if you kind of look at like all the Taiwan breeders, they do this for a living. They make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. They would have came up with the lines.
Right.
But if you're going from a Bloody Mary, this is what I tell people. Everybody's always worried about getting the females. Give me females. Give me females. I want the best female. No, I want the best male. So a female, you can have 18 great females and have one crappy male. That male's going to get all the females pregnant. You're not going to know what's turning out for 28 to 35 days. And then you're going to be upset because you have to call them once they get a little bit bigger. Versus starting with a really good male that can get all your females pregnant and then go from there. Because you can literally take that male and go from tank to tank to tank to tank with a good genetic in there. So always have the best male genetics out there. If you're trying to breed and you breed and the babies come out, as soon as you can sex them, yank those males out. Yank them out. I'm on the phone. You know what I mean? Yank the males out. That's the biggest thing.
Another thing that I've noticed, and I don't know if it's the same with the Caridina because I've never seen the Caridina in action, but I've seen Neos in action several times that I've seen it with my own eyes. I seen it with my own eyes. And I believe in calling as soon as possible because when the female is just molted and she's trying to swim around and stay relaxed and hidden, and those males are swimming around, they will come after her 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time. And they will all take turns on her and they'll be all over her. And you look at them and the male, that one's spotty and it's kind of clear. Yeah. And that male is dark. And So you're getting all kinds of genetics put in there.
It's the same concept as like if you have a high-end male, a high-grade male, and you have a bunch of high-grade females, and all of a sudden you have this low-grade in there and she gets pregnant. Don't wait for it to release. Take her and put her in a different container. Let her release in there. You don't want
Yes.
her to release 40 babies, and you have to wait till you get bigger and try and catch those 40 babies. If
Yeah.
she's a low grade, put her in a different tank and then kind of breed out that way.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're trying to do a breeding project, the best thing is a bare tank. Do a bare small tank, like a 2.5 gallon. Put a sponge filter in there. Put a small mat of moss in there. Small thing of moss in there. Put your couple females in there. Put your male in there, and go to town.
Coolio.
That's what I say. I gotta go plug my phone in. It's getting kind of low.
I believe so, Jess. From what I have seen, and like I said, I've only seen the Neos do it, but it made me realize that culling is so important because I didn't know which male impregnated or fertilized the eggs, and maybe each one fertilized a portion. I don't know how big the saddle is and how, if it all gets fertilized at once by one male instantly or what. So just knowing that the female had 3 or 4 different males that were of lesser quality than what I had really wanted, I knew immediately that I'm probably going to take that female out, put her in a separate container, so when she releases, I can cull that way versus trying to catch them in the tank, because that's really hard.
So yeah, if there's a female in there and she breeds with the male, she's gonna get pregnant by that male. Okay, not multiple females, by that one male. So, but what happens is as the genetics are, so every Neocaridina davidii came from a Neocaridina davidii. It's different color variations. So even though you do line breeding, the percentage of, let's say, blue gets lower and lower every time something happens, but it can still happen where it still throws out a call or whatever. It happens because it's not like it's a pure red line where it's pure.
Right.
You know, it's a Neocaridina davidii variation red, variation blue. You know, a lot of breeders put special names on them and stuff, but it's the same thing. And orange is an orange. And orange is a Neocaridina davidii variation orange. They say sun-kissed, they say orange. Technically, a sun-kissed is a Caridina shrimp. Right. But the thing is like, everybody says, what's this? It's because a breeder over in Taiwan called it a sun-kissed. Now everybody calls it a sun-kissed. But technically, a sun-kissed is a Caridina shrimp. That's not what they are. They're Neos here. So I'm just kind of read it here. So my scenario, if I looked.
Bye, Carrie.
All right. So yeah, if you have a cull tank and you have some really nice females in there, you can pluck those out, put them in a different tank. You are still going to get culls out of there because you have the genetics mixed, but you can cull those out as time goes by. If that makes sense.
Yes. Now, that's kind of what happened to me when I first started, where I ended up with 26 tanks in my master bedroom because of that specifically, that I'd get a not so high quality male, and then I have 3 different variations that come out on that female. So I set up 3 more tanks and I put those 3 different variations in there, and then those produce 2 different variations. So I got to get another 3 tanks for the other variations and so on and so forth. And it's crazy how that happens. But if you can get quality males and quality females and do it right, it'll reduce the amount of culling you'll have to do. But you're still going to take culling if you want to get them. Like Lucas's shrimp, that didn't happen overnight. He did that over years of culling to get his blues.
And it's just it happens in time. Like, if let's say you start a colony of blue dreams and you buy 20 of them, and all of a sudden you start breeding them and you get some culls. Cull those out, take those out. You know, maybe find the best male, keep the best male in there, keep the other males alive, and see from the next breeding. You know, it's one of those. I never want shrimp to get pregnant all at once, because what happens is they all release at the same time and you don't know which ones are which. But if you can systematically get this shrimp pregnant on this week, and it just kind of works out, you would know roughly which ones are breeding. Caradinas is so much easier because you can pick out Caradinas left and right. Neos are really tough. But I would like literally like take one out, put in a little specimen cup, take your camera, zoom in, take some pictures back and forth, and just look at the legs, look at the body. Crap, it's got a little black spot on it. Well, that's in the genetics. It's going to get passed down sooner or later. Your first babies may not have it, but sooner or later it's going to happen. What are they doing? Oh. I got little Jersey rubbing stuff on my feet. I'm like, what are you doing down there?
That's funny. Here, wait, I'm going to mute it real quick because I got a cough.
She's rubbing lotion on my feet. Cream.
Okay, much better. But yeah, and I don't know about you, but when I was doing all of this and I had all these tanks going with a bunch of Neos, every different flavor out there, every once in a while I'd see and find a wild. And some of those wilds, they weren't just the plain old clear body wilds. They had actual patterns where they looked like black
tiger,
where they looked almost like a galaxy Caradina or something.
Oh, yeah. It's literally so my Neocaradina Kettigalons. So Kettigalons came from northern Taiwan. It's a small stream. They're in the endangered species. I think the stream is like 20 feet by 6 inches by 150 yards. I mean, sellers are still selling them, which I don't agree upon it because they're endangered. But those shrimp are so cool. Like I've had key lime green pop out. And I'm like, ooh, just keep on popping some more key lime greens and I could line breed them. Never happens that way. I'm at my tank. I've never been able to cull out these colors and try and breed those colors because in theory, that'd be a whole entire new species. Because right now you have Davidii, Palomito, and the Z shrimp, we call it, that long word that only has like 3 vowels. And then you have the Kettigalons. But Kettigalons have never been line bred for certain colors. Could I do it? Yes, I could do it. But how often am I going to get these colors to pop? Like that one green was like so cool. But in 4 years I've had them, it's only popped out once.
That makes sense. It's crazy, though, how sometimes you can run across somebody out there that sells you some shrimp, and you put them in your tank, and then because maybe they're not so good quality or not the strain isn't very stabilized in the genetics, that you start popping out all different strains like I did. Because when I first started, I didn't go to the most reliable source. I went to the first place I found.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake. That's why I changed my purchasing to where I stuck with one person just because I knew the shrimp were good. As I started meeting everybody else and learning, oh, okay, well, he's got good shrimp too, and so does he, and so does she, or whatever the case may be.
This is what I tell people too. Like on the Caradinas, everybody, I get asked all the time, I want to breed Galaxy fish bones, but I want to go from the beginning and I want to work my way. Cool. Kudos. Happy. It's going to be like 3 to 4 years. Are you going to have the same passion in 3 to 4 years versus just buying some already made and this improving the line? That's where someone's like, I want to do this. I'm like, so you're going to like producing Galaxy fish bones in 3 to 4 years when in theory that could be like nobody really wants those. Like when I got into it, everybody wanted Galaxy fish bones. That was like the cat's meow. And that's when I got into boas. I'm like, ooh, I love boas. And now everybody's like red fancy tigers. And then it was the dancing man. And now it's the boas again. Now it's the blue metallic boas. And it's the things change so many times. It's like, if you can catch a good deal, like if someone likes Galaxy fish bones, find someone that has a good deal on it and improve the line. That's the best part is getting some good ones and then improving the line on there.
Right. Now that's why when I bought I bought one shrimp. Well, actually, I bought more than one. I bought several $100s worth of shrimp, but one of them cost me $200 from Eric on his pre-sale. But I knew what I was buying. I knew why it cost what it cost, and that's all I wanted was one. And
Joseph Stanley made a comment. I just want to answer it. He asked if orange is not really a neo color. It is a neo color. It's a Neocaradina Davidii variation orange. What I'm getting at is the sun-kissed. If you actually look up sun-kissed shrimp, a sun-kissed is actually a Caradina. It's orange with some red specks in it, and that's a Caradina shrimp. What happens is people over in Taiwan, Germany, even in America here, they start making a line, and it's the same orange Neo, and what they do is they put a different name on it so they can get more money, so it sounds different. So that's what I was getting at by that. It's a Neocardina Dividii variation orange. So the Sunkiss and the orange are usually the same thing.
Cool, Alan. I'm glad you liked them. One shrimp for $200. Actually, it was $199, and it was a 5 to 8 spot Galaxy fishbone, and it was beautiful shrimp. I mean, it spider legs. Is
that what you paid?
Huh?
Is that what you paid?
Yeah.
Message me. I get them cheaper for you.
Well, back then nobody knew me. Well, it was about a year and a half ago when I did it.
Yeah,
so,
it's kind of like, I made my name for those boas. I bought a stupid amount of boas for a stupid amount of money. I made the paper. I made 93X. I made Channel 4 News for spending that kind of money. Nowadays, those same shrimp are probably going for like $200 to $300. So I basically bred them. I made my money back on them. Now I'm offering the high grades for $300, medium grades for $200, lower grades for $100. It's just it's a thing. The last international shrimp contest, look, that one guy wanted $20,000 for it was called the Sky, I can't remember, it's like Skyridge something, is some new line. And I said, you're not going to get 20,000 for it. He's like, it's a brand new line, it's my own line. I'm like, I know, but you didn't even place. It's like you placed out of all the points, it was like sixth. And the reason behind that is because it was such a new shrimp. So I'm like, well, you're not going to get nobody here is going to pay you $20,000 per shrimp. Nope, it ain't happening. Back when there's a guy it was Brandon. I won't say his last name. Brandon and we used to spend big money at the shows and stuff, and we would have like the silent auctions or the auctions, and we'd bid against each other. And it's like, dude, how much you want to go up? And it's like, I own a store, and we kind of bid against each other. But in theory, that's not like that anymore. A lot of the big players out there aren't out there anymore. There's only a few of us out there, and I would like more people to get into it, some more bigger players out there, because that's where you get some really nice genetics and stuff. I mean, I would love to go over to Taiwan and find these breeds that are freaking $5,000 a piece. I would love that. Would I bring these in right now? More than likely not, because the average consumer, even if I said, hey, I bought this shrimp for $5,000, I'll drop it down to $1,000. Average person is not going to buy them. It is what it is.
Right. No, I get it. That's something that, just because I like buying one shrimp for $200 because I really like that shrimp and knowing what I'm getting and it's coming from Vin, then yeah, I mean, but do I see myself being able to turn around and, get the same for it? No. Because I'm not Vin,
Yeah.
It's kind of the difference, but you got to start somewhere. So that's kind of where I want to get to the point to where I'm not just selling the shrimp that I'm breeding and, here's a blue bolt and here's a red tiger, fancy red tiger. But I also want to have my own separate, the high end ones that I can sell as breeder quality shrimp, so that way the people that know that have the money or know that they want to spend big money for a quality shrimp, that way they know they're not just getting the run of the mill blue boat, they're getting something that's a breeder quality.
And 100%, yeah. And my suggestion for that one is, if you have some higher quality ones, take them out of the tanks that have lower quality. You don't need let's say you have a high grade female in there, a beautiful female, and all of a sudden she molts, and all of a sudden you have all these males kill her off. I mean, you just don't want to take that risk. I mean, I've done it where I've taken one shrimp and put it in a separate 2.5 gallon tank, and it's just kind of sat there until I found something I want to do. And I still think I have tanks at the store that have one or two shrimp in there that I'm trying to find a good, male for. I mean, they live 2 years. It's just like I have time.
Right.
And that's the thing. Don't ever settle. That's what I always tell people is don't settle. If you're trying to get X, Y, Z, don't settle for A, B, and C. If you got to save up a little more money to get what you want, save up some money and get what you want. That's what I did. That's what makes common sense. If I could go back in time, When I set up all my tanks, I would change things up. I wouldn't have got the low grade blue bolts. I wouldn't have got the low grade PRLs. I would have went over and I would have got the high grade stuff that throws off the smaller ones that I can put them in different tanks.
Right.
That's where I screwed up, is I kept on doing that. Another thing, if people are, I only got limited space, go get a 10-gallon tank. Go buy those breeder boxes that click to the side of the tank that you put an airline to. You can put 2 small ones on the side and you put 2 large ones on the long side. Put your fish on the inside, so you have fish in there, and you put your shrimp on the other. That's 4 different lines. Put some sand in there, put a little piece of cholla wood, put a little moss in there. Believe it or not, those large breeder boxes, I've had over 100 shrimp in there. You can breed them in
awesome.
there. It's super simple and it's super easy.
Yep. I love doing that. That's why I have so many of those little breeder boxes, because, I love them. I love being able to acclimate my shrimp that way, just by turning on the air at a certain drip rate and acclimate my shrimp through there. But I'm still paranoid, so I don't ever let it get to the top and start running back into the tank. Once I fill it up with the water, then I just pull the shrimp out and put them in the tank.
Yep. The biggest thing is, like, if you get shrimp, always take the bag, hold it up, put them in a specimen. Inspect your shrimp. If you know the shrimp are coming from importers, it's always that you should do a salt dip. In theory, just for the vorticelli and everything else, it's a good way to just salt dip it out. Go make some aquarium salt. We put in some cycled water. Make it like a 1.0 for the salinity. Take your shrimp, put it in that. Put them down in the water for like 45 seconds. Take them out, put them in fresh water, and then you wait a couple minutes and then put them back in there. That usually gets off the vorticelli and stuff. And just be aware of there is. You get the green fungus, you get the vorticelli. Everybody says the rust disease. I haven't seen rust disease in 6 years. I'm not worried about rust disease. But it's usually the vorticelli and it's usually the green fungus. There's food out there, Tima Care, it helps with the green fungus. The biggest thing is I tell people is, if you're trying to get the most shrimp possible to the cheapest price, they're going to be imported. It's one of those things where, Papa Shrimp can spend months and months breeding shrimp. He puts a value behind it. And if all of a sudden you say, no, I want to pay 75 cents a shrimp, it's not really worth it for Papa Shrimp to go over and sell them at that price. It's not.
Yeah. But that's, and that's something that I always, I don't know. I look around, I see what everybody else is going for, and that's what I'm going to go at. I don't want to, undercut anybody. That's not my.
And that's where it's tough. Like Eric Lucas, or I'm sorry. Flip Aquatics, Rob. He's got 8 employees, 4 employees, whatever. Where his cost is always going to be up higher because he's got more overhead. I'm a one-man band. Eric's a one-man band. It's one of those things. I still pay rent. I have a retail store, but I can still be competitive with the prices. Why? Because I work for a company that transships for my breeders that I've made friends with over, and I get a good price on them. That's what I have in my favor. And it's one of those things where, value who you have around you and value the expertise that you come across. I always ask people if they're going to give you advice. Ask them, hey, how long have you been doing this? If someone says, hey, I started my first shrimp tank 6 years ago, ran good for about 2 months, but now I don't have it. Should you take advice from that then? Because obviously something happened. Another thing I see is people say, like today I had a customer come in and say, hey, dude, I had a PRL colony. It was doing great. All of a sudden I got some random deaths. And I'm like, hey, what's the water parameter? Because everything's perfect in the water. Sometimes it just happens. Sometimes if you can't explain what happened and you have a huge colony, just let it go for a month. See what happens. See if the tank settles down in a month. If you keep on having deaths in there, take the shrimp out. Do a reset. Get rid of the soil. Put fresh soil in there. Go for a whole entire cycle. Let it cycle for a month. Put the shrimp back in there. I've had it where I couldn't explain. I reached out to Eric Lucas. I reached out to a lot of people. I'm like, dude, I had this tank. I set it up. It's new. And I went for a full cycle. I put shrimp in there and it died. I reset it. Now I let the tank go for 60 days. I put shrimp in there. They're all doing fine now. So,
right.
Who knows? There's a lot of stuff in water that we just can't test for.
Yes, there is. And that's one of the things. There's hidden things. One time I had a really great thing. I had like 6 fish bones and 3 of the females were pregnant. They were buried up. I saw the babies and I was so happy. And then 3 days later, there was no babies. Then the other female, she was buried. She dropped the eggs, and I saw the babies. And then 3 days later, no more babies. And I
Yep.
was like, what the heck's going on? So I got my camera and I started doing real close up shots and trying to show video that I have a baby. There's a baby right there. I have it proof, you know. And then I noticed that there was this little hair algae thing that wasn't hair
Hydra.
algae.
Hail
It had
Hydra.
little fingers. And then I started looking around, and all the hair algae all over my tank wasn't hair algae. It was
Cladophora?
Hydra. And I went, ah!
So there's steps, and a lot of people don't realize there's steps into shrimp breeding. Okay, there's the whole initial, I put shrimp in my tank and they survive. Then the next step is getting the female pregnant. Then the next step is having the female carry it a full term, because a lot of times females can drop and they get stressed out.
Yep.
Then from that step, then it's a baby survival. The babies have to survive to juvie. Once they reach the juvie, usually it's a mature tank and everything else, and people don't realize there's steps. You know, I set up a brand new tank. The tank's been going for 2 weeks. My shrimp got buried in there. They had babies. Now my babies didn't survive. It's been going for 2 weeks. It's not a mature tank. Just be patient with it. Keep your hands on the tank. I tell people all the time, don't even look at the tank. You want them to breed, play some Berry White. Don't look at the tank. Drop some food in there and just leave them alone.
I play drums. They like my metal drums.
Like, I have to go tomorrow and I have to literally scrape my tanks because I was looking around today. I'm like, God, they look freaking horrible. And I'm like, well, I bet you they're breeding at least. Another thing is like wintertime. Like up here in Minnesota, there's no breeding in the winter. The barometer drops. So when the barometer drops, the water pressure in the tank drops. And I know there's a lot of videos out there saying how to breed in the wintertime. But I'm gonna be honest. I mean, if you're making the video down in Florida, you ain't in Minnesota. I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, Minnesota's got a lot of breeders up there. If we're not breeding in the wintertime, we're not breeding in the wintertime. It's a siesta time for them.
Right.
So,
do the water molecules change when I play music? Well, I hope so, because, like I said, there was a little while where I was not seeing much breeding activity, and then I stopped closing my door in the fish room because my drums are right on the other side. But I stopped closing that door when I played, and now I'm playing more since I've recovered. And it seems like
you just got to look at it. I mean, look at it in your car. If you're in your car and you play bass, you feel the bass. If you hear bass outside, the person next to you plays bass, you can feel it in there. It's the same concept. The shrimp are inside the tank. If you tap on the glass, it echoes in there and it puts water ripples in there. It's the same concept. If you're playing drums, they can, although they're shrimp, they still hear. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know. Correct. I could be corrected on this one, and I'm sorry if it has to be on your page. I'm sure they hear. So,
I think it works because everything's breeding. So maybe
that's all it takes. I mean,
maybe they enjoy it. It's kind of like talking to your plants, Maybe your fish and shrimp need a little bit of music every once in a while, a little bit of activity other than just bubbles.
Yeah.
The drums could stress them out. I could understand that, and trust me, I was very worried about that at first, but it seems like it's the opposite, because when I had my surgery, I didn't touch my drums for 2 months, and nothing was breeding, really. Nothing, except for one tank of my the Extreme Blue Bolts was breeding, but nothing else. And since I started playing and everything, all my tanks are buried. So I don't know. I'm going to still go with it. Trust me, I pay attention to every little thing that I do in and around my fish room or shrimp room, because I want to know. I mean, does it make a difference when I play or not play? Does it stress them out? And I really don't think it does.
Sing to them. Sing. Take a straw, put it in your tank, and just sing like hallelujah. Just sing to them. That's all you have to do.
Yeah, if you heard me sing, you'd say, "Don't quit your day job."
Hey, I like when I did the Island Boy parody. I originally sang it. It was Aquarium Shrimp. And then I listened to it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna I'm gonna Milli Vanilli this. I am not singing. I am not a singer. I'm not made for singing. I'll sing in the shower, maybe, probably not. I'm gonna be honest. I don't. I sing to my kids. Every once in a while I'll sing for Jersey and stuff, but I'm not a singer.
They think the end is near. Ah, it's the end of the world.
Who is that big tall person singing to me? The world is ending.
Well, that's cool, man. I think we're a little bit over past 8
Thank you.
o'clock, so I'll let
Anytime
everybody.
you need help, man, just shoot me a message. I can always hop on there. You know, maybe
Okay.
we can get some people asking a bunch of questions, and we can get a panel of people up here, and we can
Yeah.
go one by one and answer the questions and stuff. You know, I
Yeah,
know
we
some
had some
people that
pretty
are
good
shrimp
questions
experts out there
today.
hate the camera, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I like the way it's going because it seems like we're getting more shrimpy people in here asking some questions. So I
Yep.
think the more and more that we can get that kind of consistent, then maybe we can get, you
Yep.
know,
I agree.
prepare your questions. If you run across something during the week, you know, write them down.
If you
whatever
run
gotta
across
do.
something and you're on my live in the morning, just come to Jerry in the evening and just ask the question in the evening.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, you got 3 shrimpers that do it on Wednesdays. I mean, we can answer your questions.
Definitely. Cool deal, man. Well, I appreciate you coming up, Joe.
Thank you, bud.
Thank you, man. Everybody else, y'all have a good one. Thank you for keeping it shrimple with us, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Thank you, man.